When you look back on your relationship with a narcissist, what do you remember? You see, oftentimes a narcissist will come into your life, and when they start to devalue you and they start to get ready for the discard and they walk out, they're going to tell you, hey, I fell out of love. I no longer care about you anymore. I don't love you anymore. Or they'll try to stretch it out and say, hey, everything we've been through has just been toxic. It's just been bad. And all they'll do is they'll look at and they'll bring to light every single thing that happened in the relationship that had a negative connotation. It'll get crazy because you'll look back and you'll try to remember all the good times to justify staying with an abuser, while the narcissist looks at all the bad times to justify why they're leaving and why they're discarding. And this oftentimes can create this cognitive dissonance between the two people of like, hey, like I still want to be with this person, even though they've been abusing me. And the narcissist is trying to say like, hey, I don't want to be with this person, and I'm only trying to remember the bad things, so I have a reason, and so I can justify leaving. Has this ever happened to you in your relationships? Has this happened with your narcissist, with the toxic person that's been in your life, that you've experienced this kind of like push-pull? I mean, you're like sitting there and you're like, wait a second, like I don't remember this being that bad. Like I thought it was actually good. Like, can't you remember the good times? And the narcissist is like, no, like there wasn't any good times. Like I don't care about you. Like you cost me too much money. Like you're too frustrating. Like you just annoy me with everything. And they start to devalue and degrade so that they have an exit strategy, so that they have a plan to be able to get out. Or on the other side, once they leave, once they've devalued you and put you down and cut away your confidence and who you are, they leave, and then you start thinking back, maybe it was me. Maybe it was something that I did. Maybe I could have done something better because I remember the good times. And you start to look back and you start to think like, hey, like we were connected, like we enjoyed times together, like we shared a lot of similar experiences together. A lot of times people look back on their experience with the narcissist and they'll look at that and they'll think, hey, we are really connected. Well, trauma is not connection, and abuse is not an actual bond. And the problem is people look at it and they start to think like, oh, like we had a connection, or we've been through so much together. You know, the thing is not how much you've been through, but maybe how much the narcissist put you through. It's a quote that I got from Lee Hammock with Mental Illness. Okay, but I want you to think of this idea that, hey, everything that's happened in the past, your mind will want to change and want to make it positive in order to justify how long you stayed, or in order to make it right in your mind of the abuse that you endured. It's okay. It's okay for that thing to be going on in your head, but what you have to do is once you're out of that situation, you have to be able to look back and be like, hey, like this actually happened. Otherwise, it's so easy to minimize all the stuff that happened. You minimize the gaslighting, the lies, and everything like that, and you'll look at yourself and be like, it wasn't that bad. Like, why did I leave? Like, maybe it was me. Maybe I should have done something different. Maybe I should have interacted different. Maybe I should have loved them different. At the end of the day, none of that is valid, because it doesn't matter what you could have done. All that matters is that the narcissist, that toxic person in your life, made the conscious choice time and time again to not be honest, to not be vulnerable, and to hurt and abuse you through lies and through manipulation, oftentimes cheating, future faking, love bombing, etc. If you've been in these type of relationships, you need to be very careful that you work to build yourself up and to create solid boundaries so that you don't go back to these type of people, that you don't get sucked back in with a hoovering technique, that you don't get pulled into the next person through their love bombing or their future faking that wraps you in to their lies and creates that fog around your head of what's actually going on. Work on setting boundaries, work on being safe, work on growing yourself. If you're new here, my name's Ben. I'm a self-aware narcissist in therapy working to bring awareness about narcissism, healing, change, and growth to people out there. Subscribe for more. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.